Hi everyone, welcome to Drive to Run. Today's video goes over the differences between the various trims of the 2022 Mazda CX-5 and which ones I recommend you consider. Before we dive into the specifics, some high-level pricing information. The 2022 CX-5 starts at $27,125 for a base S trim all-wheel drive model, all the way up to $39,875 for a turbo signature all-wheel drive. All of those prices include the mandatory $1,225 destination charge. As always, my analysis assumes you're paying MSRP, so if your local dealer is charging a markup on particular trims, you may need to reconsider which one gives you the most value for money, or better yet, expand your search and find a dealer that isn't charging the markups. For 2022, all CX-5s come standard with all-wheel drive. So from a powertrain perspective, the only decision you have to make is whether you want to upgrade from the naturally aspirated engine to the turbo. The turbo is offered on the top two trim levels, and by upgrading to the turbo, you get about 70 more horsepower and nearly double the torque if you use premium fuel. You can still use regular fuel in the turbo engine, but the engine's performance will suffer. If you have the budget to buy the turbo, it's worth test driving to see if the extra cost is worth it to you. One thing to note, Mazda does have an all-new model, the CX-50, arriving in the next few months. It is a slightly larger, more rugged SUV than the CX-5. Pricing hasn't been announced, but if that's of interest to you, it might be worth waiting for that new model to arrive. Now back to the trim levels. There are 8 of them for the 2022 CX-5. The S Select, the S Preferred, the S Carbon Edition, the S Premium, the S Premium Plus. All of those come with the naturally aspirated engine. And then you have the Turbo and Turbo Signature trims, which of course come with the turbo engine. Mazda pretty much doesn't offer any option packages within the various trims. So for the most part, what the trim comes with as standard is what you're going to get. There are a few minor exceptions, but not really worth noting. First, comparing the S to the S Select, you can see all that the S Select offers for a relatively reasonable $2,000 upcharge. Leatherette seating, heated front seats, dual zone climate, rear seat vents and USB ports, a 6-speaker audio system versus the S's 4. All of that for $2,000 is worth it in my mind. However, I know some people do not like leather or leatherette seating. If you fall into that category, then your only option in the CX-5 model range is the S model. It is the only one that comes with cloth seats, and they only come in black. The one good thing is that at least the S trim comes fairly well equipped, with some features not found until you get to the upper trim levels of competitors like the RAV4 and CR-V. Next in the lineup is the S Preferred. While it's only $1,700 more than the S Select, it also doesn't offer a whole lot for that money. Personally, I don't find any of the features super compelling, so I'd probably skip the S Preferred, but if you find that you would like a couple of those features, it's a decent value for $1,700. Moving to the S Carbon trim, this is the first trim level where you start to get some distinguishing exterior styling from the lower trims. For $1,120 more than the S Preferred, you get larger 19-inch rims, one special exterior color, and red or black leather interior. I'm generally not one to recommend paying for a pure styling package, and I think this is really going to have a narrow market because having only one exterior color offered is pretty limiting, but $1,120 is a reasonable price to pay if you really do like the styling. The S Premium costs $1,590 more than the S Carbon, but in reality, since the S Carbon is just an appearance package, I think it makes more sense to compare the S Premium to the S Preferred. When doing that, the S Premium costs $2,710 more, and you get larger rims, upgraded audio, configurable all-wheel drive modes, and a few other minor enhancements. In reality, all you'll probably notice on a daily basis is the upgraded audio, larger digital dash, and 19-inch rims, and those just don't seem worth the extra $2,710 to me. Next, the S Premium Plus is $1,640 more than the S Premium. For that amount, you get ventilated front seats, heated rear seats, a heated steering wheel, and a heads-up display. I actually think that's a decent value for all that you get. And if you live in an extreme climate, I can totally see why you'd step up to the Premium Plus. Finally, the last two trims, the Turbo and the Turbo Signature. The Turbo costs $2,450 more than the S Premium Plus and comes with all the same features. So you get the ventilated seats, heated rear seats, etc. Choosing the turbo engine is entirely a personal choice. So if you're someone who wants the extra power, you'll have to decide if it's worth it to you. One thing to note is that the CX-5's towing capacity of 2,000 pounds does not increase when you get the more powerful engine. The Turbo Signature costs an additional $2,250 from the Turbo, and you get Mazda's current semi-autonomous driving technology, a navigation system, some additional parking aids, and a unique Nappa leather interior. I haven't heard great things about Mazda's semi-autonomous driving tech, and since you can run navigation through CarPlay or Android Auto, then you're really paying $2,250 for nicer leather and additional parking aids. That doesn't seem worth it to me. So in summary, of the 8 CX-5 trims offered, here's where I've settled. The S Premium and Turbo Signature trims really are out because they don't offer much value for the money. I generally wouldn't recommend the S Carbon Edition unless you absolutely love the styling and or must have a red leather interior. For the S Preferred, you'll have to find at least 2 of the features to be super compelling to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, I'd skip it. Then, if you're someone who must have cloth seats, the S trim is your only option. If you live in an extreme climate, then I can see why you'd choose to go with the S Premium Plus. But generally speaking, if you don't need the turbo engine, I'd choose the S Select trim. And if the turbo was important to you, I'd go with the base turbo trim. That's it for the 2022 Mazda CX-5. I hope you found this video useful. Feel free to leave comments or ask any questions below, and thanks for watching.